Hello and welcome to the Spaghetti Junction podcast. My name is Bruce,
My name's Gareth.
and we talk about things. We just don't know where they're gonna
Gonna
go.
go. So I have to tell you something, and I know it's like pretty much linked, I guess, towards a conversation coming up.
Yeah.
Um, is it's I call it entertaining, but others would not find it funny because it's hate speech and crap like that. No, well, so what happened was there are like a few what we call zebra crossings. Pedestrian walks
Correct.
in the
Yes.
country. I think there's about two of them that are that have been basically painted, you know, multicolored. For
Rainbow flag.
the rainbow flag, LGBTQ, fair enough, cool. That's fine. So two incidents happened. The most recent one, somebody took a pot of paint, a white paint, and this was in Auckland, at night when everyone was gone, and they painted on it. But
I
it
think
was
I saw that
water-based
one.
paint. Yes, oh, he did. And it was water-based paint, which is funny in itself. It's going to rain sometime, buddy. Anyways, so that all happened. It's like a white smear, which they can clean up. The police
Mm.
now are calling that a hate crime. To
Yeah.
which I'm like, just because someone doesn't agree. So
Correct.
I have so many questions with that right now. Um,
It
so we
doesn't
can go into
surprise me in the slightest.
yeah. I have many questions on that one. The other one that was that they would say vandalized, and that might be for a whole another discussion. There's this church in New Zealand that I believe have crossed the line of like we care for people, love God, love people, love yourself, blah blah blah, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Um, and to accept people, even if you don't agree with something that they may do or associate themselves with, as he, she, whatever. Um,
Yeah.
but they've taken a stance, and they're very well known about it, unfortunately, that they will that they will make their voices heard via picketing and so forth. So what these guys did, they actually specifically painted over it, and they kind of what they've done is that they brought in their Christian beliefs, but turned them into, well, we agree with God and and everything along those lines, but we don't agree with LGBTQ, and therefore we're going to make noise and make known that the word isn't hate, but they come across as, as basically, if you want to be LGBTQ, well, do it in your own space, but don't bring it out into the world because it's unacceptable and ungodly. And so that could be
Yeah.
a whole nother conversation. That to me is going about it all the wrong way. Completely all the wrong way.
Mm.
I don't know what you feel. I just feel that there are ways of dealing with things, and there are ways of accepting. Maybe they don't believe that it's right. Fair enough, but there's ways of drawing people in to God, and there's ways
Yeah.
of chasing people away, and their way is definitely chasing people away. They've taken on
Yeah.
more like a humanistic view instead of what their beliefs of God are, if that makes any sense. This is
Yeah.
quite a heavy start, isn't it?
Very much so. Yes. Because so our conversation is primarily what I suggested is we talk about what's happening in Scotland, but
Yes.
we're gonna see. I mean, like we always say, it's not surprising that we see a rise in all kinds of events like this in all of these primarily first world countries that are
Yeah.
sort of promoting the liberalism of all of this.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I did see something about someone painting over a pride flag zebra crossing.
That's right.
It
That's
could
right.
have
Yeah,
it could have been one of those two in New Zealand, but I'm not sure. I didn't really. I was like, I
I
didn't
think
even.
it is. I think it's the same ones. Yeah.
Yeah, apparently it was done at night when no one was around.
Yep, that's New
So
Zealand.
yeah, okay,
Which
cool.
is always very big and brave, isn't it?
Yeah.
We'll hide in the shadows.
Well, so it obviously pissed someone off enough to make them do something about it. So
It's just crazy though that it's, and this is very much linking to what we're going to talk about. It's just crazy how the police are seeing it as a hate crime. I would
yes,
see as a vandalizing something. That's vandalizing. That's the crime which you can be in trouble for. But the fact
correct.
that someone painted over the rainbow pedestrian crossing, just because you know what, he doesn't like the color, or like he might not agree with them, and that's just him trying to say, I don't like this. But to make it a hate crime that someone can is just absolutely ridiculous.
Correct. And this is what we're seeing with this new law that's now been eventually passed in Scotland. It's actually been it's been it's come into effect.
Passed. Yes, that's right.
Yes.
It was a few years ago.
It was passed 3 years ago, but it obviously came up against quite a bit of opposition and stuff like that. And ironically, on April 1st, April Fool's Day, this law gets passed. I mean, this law came into effect. So it's this new hate crime law that it's the crime of stirring up hatred. That is apparently now a crime. Okay. Yes. On the grounds. So this is the whole list. Okay. This is the whole list.
Yep.
On the grounds of age, disability, sexual orientation, trans identity, variations in sex characteristics, or what they call intersex, also including race, ethnicity, color, and nationality.
Now, before you go on with that one, when I read that too, it's like, can't you all put all those like transgender blah blah blah? Isn't that all of that can go underneath the word sexual identity? To me, and again, that may be very insensitive of me right now saying all that. But to me, it feels like everything there sexually. I feel that all of that should be sexual orientation and not break it all down to specifics. Because what about the other people who aren't part of that and who see themselves?
This is the problem, because they are now they're making the language so convoluted that everyone's confused, because there's so many different ways you can't, because and I'm sorry, but they talk about inclusion. Surely it should be all inclusive under one term. I don't know. Or maybe sorry, am I just being a little bit
I'm gonna have you arrested, buddy.
Yeah, because so that's what we, and what it also includes is what they just call insulting behavior. So a prosecution, if someone goes to, like, if they go to court, all they need to prove was that stirring up hatred was likely rather than intended. So even if it's not even intended, you can get into trouble. It was possibly likely that someone was stirring up hatred. So no, you're in trouble now. We're gonna, that's how extreme it's become. And I think, and the other thing, I don't know if you saw, the maximum sentence is 7 years in prison if it ever gets to that.
What if
you are prosecuted under this stirring up hatred hate crime, the maximum sentence, depending on what you did or what you said, because words hurt apparently, you can 7 years.
Wow.
Yeah. And what was the other thing I found? I had it here. So even if and so remember this, and this is quite scary, because this can translate. This can be this covers, comments said on social media. It can be all kinds of things. It's really going that extreme. And what they're saying is that even if a comment is not deemed a crime, it can still be recorded as a non-crime hate incident.
Non-crime hate incidents.
Yes. So it's not a crime, but it's still a hate incident.
I was also reading that they were even bringing this, this bill or whatever they want to call it into being, that even if something happens in your home,
yes,
you can be reported. If it's just yourselves hanging out with a buddy or hanging out with your family, someone
Correct.
can just phone and say, hey, so-and-so said this and this and this. And then they have to listen to it because that's what they put in law. But it's like it's this person against this person, and who's telling the truth. And like for example, I don't know, if you're in a fight and you're really pissed off somebody, and they just said, "Oh, sorry guys, Mr. Police person, so and so said X, Y, and Z in this house, and I feel like it was a crime." Then they have to follow it up. And I think I read that there were, in the first month, there were like a few thousand. I don't know if you have the numbers on that, but it was a few thousand.
Over 3,800.
In how long? In
the first few days after the law came into effect.
Oh wow, okay.
But what a lot of Scottish people are doing, and this is sort of an attribute to the Scottish sense of humor. A lot of Scottish people are so fed up that they are just flooding the police with complaints.
Nah.
And the police are like, we can't even handle these amounts of complaints because most Scottish people don't care, and they're just taking the piss because they're fed up, And so, it's also, when you comes to talking about the police and everything, I mean, now the police are now going to have to follow up all this stuff, and I mean, that's police resources that could be used to actually investigate real crime.
Yes, exactly.
They've even said that where was it? Scottish police, they literally did release something. I don't know if you read this, that they will not be investigating minor crimes. For example, like someone, some yob throws runs past your house and throws a brick through your front window, or thefts not captured on security cameras because it's so much harder to investigate. So we're just not going to investigate that. Sorry for you.
But then they won't. But then they will investigate something that person A said to person B about person
Correct.
C that is even true, and there's no proof of it.
Yeah, they will investigate. They will investigate incidences of someone's feelings getting hurt.
That's funny.
And that, I started seeing this stuff starting to happen in Scotland quite a while ago. So I'm not surprised it's gone to this. But it started with Nicola Sturgeon, the previous minister, first minister, that chick, and then you had and so she resigned last year, and then now you have this guy Hamza Yusuf.
Yusuf, yeah, that's right.
Who has now taken over, and he's sort of pushed this law into being and that kind of thing. He's now First Minister of Scotland, and he's just being ridiculed the world over now.
Yeah, there was a question on the bill that someone asked, like, why does the new law not include misogyny?
And I saw that as well.
About misogyny, where did I read it? Hold on, but so this is part of the article. It says that that even before it was passed, an independent working group led by Helena Kennedy Casey, whoever that person is, was established to
Yes.
consider whether adding sex to the list of other protected characteristics or creating a standalone offence would better tackle misogynist abuse, and the group later recommended that the Scottish government introduce a misogyny act to crack down on street harassment and organised online hate. And it was included in this guy's use program for government last September, but it has yet to be published, and it hasn't happened. So you would think along hate crimes that you would. I wonder what they would, if they were trying to do. No, well, number one, it's interesting that they haven't even passed it, because I mean, I would imagine that it should, if you're going to be doing like, you know, hate crimes about stuff, like how far do you go? I don't know what you think about the whole, you know, misogyny thing, if that should be in the law or not. Going on how, not how you see it, but like how they've really done all these laws, like how far can things go?
Well, considering how we've seen how a lot of this stuff is actually the LGBTQ stuff, when we see how, you know, they're trying to put men into women's sports and everything, we can see how actually misogynistic the whole movement actually is, trying to erase normal women and trying to replace women with men, you know, especially in women's sports and that.
Yeah.
Personally, you'd think, sexual orientation, all this kind of stuff. Yeah, it should definitely be part of this, but I'm not surprised that they've left it out. But maybe it is such a big. Maybe they do feel also it's a big enough deal on its own that it requires its own section of laws as well.
And you would think that that's way more important than what so and so said to so and so with no proof being available.
Yeah, it's
that they will
it's
spend
a huge
so much
deal.
time looking and running after cases like that because they have to, because they said they will, but they're then going to be leaving more important crimes, like way more important than whoever said what to so and so. And you're leaving, and you're also taking away finances and time from the police force, who could actually be dealing with real crimes that are necessary to be stopped, and and vindication to happen.
Yeah, correct. So that's what we're dealing with. And what you were talking about when you mentioned the whole thing of this, even something that's said within the privacy of the walls of your house, you know, in your home, either with friends, or it basically allows for even someone's children to report them.
Yeah.
You know, that's the extreme that they can go to. And that and you know, and here's, as is Bruce's custom, whenever we're talking about this, I'm going to start quoting 1984. That's exactly what happens in 1984.
The book, yeah.
The children are so indoctrinated that they become spies for the ruling party, and they rat on their parents,
right.
and their parents get arrested. So you
That's
get some
interesting
7-year-old kid who can contact someone and say, my mommy said this or my daddy said this, and they will come and take you away because your child ratted on you. So that's so if it effectively includes that. And so welcome to Scotland, people.
Yeah, I mean, and we actually have, I don't know if it was Scotland that we lost, that we have chatted about. No, that was Canada. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's going to also impact Canada. And then obviously, you know what, I would love to break down, and we don't have the time or really the topic for it right now. But obviously, one name that gets thrown around is J.K. Rowling's. For her views, and and I don't know, but there was a huge amount of accusations, and I think some people try to use this law on specific people, to use it to what they would think is their advantage. And
Yes.
again, it shows that if this was like a really legitimate, real, healthy law for a country, people wouldn't be using it to hate on one person. They'll be actually, that I think it's been used sometimes to find someone that you really hate about, and now you have the legal ways of now pulling this person out. They said this, they said that. And obviously, with J.K. Rowling's, she has her very outspoken views on LGBTQ, etc., etc., etc. And why I bring her up is that now that law is being passed, a huge amount of calls were made about J.K. Rowling's. Now, why I'm bringing that up is that the hate crime and so forth should be used to help, people who are under some form of attack or pressure, within what they call hate crimes.
Yeah.
To focus and double down on one person that has been an issue with multiple people for many years, I feel that takes the whole policing and the whole reason for it. It makes it laughable, I think, if that makes any sense. Because I mean, if it's actually meant to be like crimes against people that need help and assistance, and people are wasting their time running after one set person who's been in the news anyways for years, that's not the reason why this law is being placed. That's what I think anyways. Sorry, it was a bit long-winded, but my point was that if this is a legit law that's meant to be helping people stopping crime, how's it going to help wasting people's money and time and whatever just to say, I don't like this person, because now it's a hate crime.
Yeah, and I mean, and with so many sensitive people out there, can you just imagine how those complaints are just going to go up?
Oh, you can jump into anybody, absolutely.
Yeah, every little thing. Oh, this how extreme do we get it? That person looked at me funny. I think it was a hate crime. Or how, and then you've got to sit, and then now the police have got to make the decision. They've got to sit with this very subjective thing, like, okay, let's sit down, let's take all the details, and let's just now we've got to make these decisions. Dude, I'm sorry, I'm getting phone calls here from my house sitting clients.
Okay, well, how about you just put it on pause? You basically take the call quickly, and I'll keep the conversation running.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Thanks.
Sweet.
Cool. Cheers.
Right. So that is a little bit of a loss from Bruce on that side. But yeah. So the concerns, about this whole new law and so forth. There was a question as to what were the concerns about the new laws, like who is raising them, and I just want to read a little bit of this thing, and then there is concern that the new measures could be used maliciously against certain groups, and that's one of the big things, is that people can take maybe what was meant for some form of lawful good and manipulate it for their own reasons, for their own gain. And this person, who was from the Scottish National Party, Joanna Cherry is the person's name, has said that she has no doubt that the new law will be weaponized by trans right activists to try to silence and, worse still, criminalize women who do not share their beliefs. That if Bruce was still on the line, I would have a very interesting conversation with that, because it just opens a lot of questions, and maybe it makes you guys think, as to sorry, Bruce is on there, but he has frozen because he's taking a call. He may get back on the line. If not, we'll have a shorter episode, people. Anyways, so and again, bringing this whole thing of J.K. Rowling's in, the article says so some people who disagree with the gender critical stance of the author and activist J.K. Rowling that I actually do want to have a chat about sometime with Bruce, because I mean, that's
cool, I'm back.
He's back. Fantastic. So cool. I'm just reading through a few things while you were away. And then basically, saying that people were threatening basically to lodge complaints about her with the police in Scotland. And then that there were also worries, that the allegations of hate crime. Now, here's another issue that we haven't spoken about, can be made anonymously.
Yes.
So there is no, what's the word I'm looking for now? There is no need to even say who you are. And you can basically say whatever you want to say without putting your name down, and the police have to still respond.
Yes,
which is a very coward, underhand. It basically allows trolls, the internet trolls, to basically become real life trolls. You can basically, if you do not have to say who you are, you can actually say whatever you want to try and cause nonsense for whoever you want. And if it's false allegations, nothing's going to happen.
Yeah.
Because they don't know
correct.
who you are,
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's like you could literally say anything along with, I don't know, anything within the hate crime spectrum, which, as we've seen, is very, very wide. And you can phone in and say something, and you don't have to be followed. You don't have to be tracked, because in most countries, if you make a false allegation, you can be taken to court for that, because it is undermining other people. And if it's not true, it is then creating problems for that person. And then the view of people based, basically based on that person from what they've been told, which is now a lie, that person who lied can then be taken to court. There is some form of process. With this, you can say whatever you want to say, make a phone call, do not give your name, do not give your phone number, nothing like that, and cause some real damage on people's lives, and nothing can happen. So the person who said it has no retribution. There are no I'm looking for a word. I'm losing my words right now. But there's nothing bad is going to happen to that person, even if it's a complete lie. The person that they lied about, the impact on their lives and the ramifications could be quite dire. And the other person, even knowing that it is not true, unfortunately, when you say something, especially within the hate, the hate crime arena, so to speak, it's damaging. And police will have to take that matter seriously, even if it's not true. It's like a woman saying that person raped me, even if there's no truth or backing to it, the police will still have to follow up on that. And obviously, if it's not true, then they will go back to the woman who said it, and there's a whole court procedure. This way, a woman can say, blah, 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 this guy did that, or this white guy was racist to me because I'm black, and he quoted the Nazi, something from the Nazi. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
sorry, dude, I'm getting all these. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm getting all these phone calls again as well now. This flipping maid is phoning me now. I don't know what's going on.
You know what?
Sorry, dude.
I'm
sorry.
Leave this. Okay. Let's just leave this. People, it's been real. Bruce, you go. It's fine.
My apologies, everybody. I wasn't expecting all these phone calls to come through now.
All right, buddy.
I tried to make allowances.
You have a good one. And we'll see you. We'll see each other again.
Cool. Thanks. Sorry, guys, for the.
So that was our conversation. It would have gone further, but thank you guys for listening and watching. And I think there's a lot more on this that we can go into. I don't want to bore you guys with just me talking to you for the next 10 minutes. So we're just going to leave it at that. Be interested to hear your guys' thoughts and views. And I'm also interested to hear what you guys think on that whole thing in Auckland with the rainbow crossing, the pedestrian crossing, that was done in the colors that did denote LGBTQ, and the person pouring the white paint on it. Is that really a hate crime? I'd like to hear your guys' views on that. I mean, to me, if that's the level of hate crime, like in the sense, if that's the bar for hate crime, then I'm scared to know. I mean, then from see, my mind works and goes back. My point being, if something as small as that is seen as hate crime, what else that we may see as minor can now be called a hate crime? Sorry, that's where I was going. I kind of caught myself halfway there. All right, guys. Yeah, always a pleasure. Look after yourselves, guys, and we'll see you in about a week's time with something new and spicy, or just good laughs. All right, guys. It's been real. See you guys later. Bye.